Someone, they say, found Kayla unresponsive that afternoon. The bartender was pronounced dead on the scene.
Paula said that there's a gash on the patient's neck. It looks like someone slashed her.
Welcome to Social Talk with a Buzz, where we cover the news, social media, gossip, celebrities, all of that. But today, this one's different, because what started as a love story ended in murder. She was young, beautiful, and just getting started. Kayla Hodgson was working 2 jobs, bartender by day, flight attendant in training by night. She was focused, driven, living life. But behind her back, the man she was dating was keeping a deadly secret. And the woman he was lying to? She found out. She tracked him. She followed his every move. And then she booked a flight from New York to Florida to kill Kayla. Who was Kayla? Kayla was only 23 years old. She lived in Tamarack, Florida, loved by her friends, respected by her coworkers. She had dreams of flying the world, but her heart was grounded in hard work. She was dating someone. She thought it was real, but it was a lie, because that man was already in a relationship with another woman. In Queens, New York, the other woman. Her name, Kayla Thompson, 28 years old, from Springfield Gardens, Queens. She wasn't just suspicious, she was strategic. She noticed the changes.
I still got one bitch, I'ma smack the wig off. And then I'ma change.
The patterns, the lies. And instead of asking questions, she started tracking him, his phone, his movements, his location, and then she found Kayla. Most people, they argue, they cry, they leave. But Sakina, she flew. She got on a plane from New York to Florida, not for closure, not for conversation, but for revenge. 2022, Kayla Hodgson is found dead, inside her apartment, Tamarack Village, stabbed multiple times, no forced entry, no sign of a struggle, nothing stolen. This was personal, up close, and violent. Police followed the evidence, and all roads led back to Queens. Kayla Thompson was arrested by NYPD and flown back to Florida, not on vacation, but in custody. She's now facing charges of first-degree murder. What Kayla didn't know. Kayla didn't know she was part of a love triangle. She didn't know someone was tracking her, watching her, planning her murder. She thought she was falling in love. Instead, she fell into a setup. Someone flew across the country to make sure she'd never breathe again. Rest in peace, Kayla Hodgson. You were chasing dreams, working hard, staying in your lane. You didn't deserve this. But jealousy doesn't play fair, and sometimes it doesn't knock. This is Social Talk with a Buzz, where we talk news, social media, gossip, celebrities, and real stories that leave you speechless. Like, comment, and subscribe for more.
All right, you guys, so this one is a very, very crazy story. On July 13th, around 3 p.m., police received a 911 call in Broward County. So this 911 call was about a woman that was found unresponsive in her Tamarack Village apartment. Now, when police got to this apartment, they did make a shocking discovery. Police found 23-year-old Kayla Hodgson dead in this apartment. Kayla had been stabbed to death, and it's being said that her throat was slit.
BSO detectives are trying to figure out who killed this woman and why. Her family and friends identified her as Kayla Hodgson. She was only 23 years old, and her death, as you would expect, has shocked her neighbors.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Absolutely. We've been here 10 years and nothing like this has ever happened.
So a little background about Kayla. Her family describes her as the light of the family. She's always down to have a good time, and she has a beautiful smile. Kayla also does bottle waitressing, and on her Instagram, she's described as a public figure. So who would want to kill this beautiful girl who literally had no enemies? As investigators continue to try to piece together everything, her family starts a GoFundMe, and they're trying to raise money for her funeral. Now, about a week into the investigation, that's when police announced that they have found a suspect. Police say that this woman by the name of Kayla Thomas was arrested in New York. Now, they don't go into details saying how Kayla is responsible for Kayla's murder, but y'all, this is a very personal murder. She slit her throat and she stabbed her.
A warrant was issued for 28-year-old Sakina Thompson. She was arrested on Wednesday in New York City.
Making an arrest makes me feel a lot more comfortable.
BSO Act, but an arrest affidavit says Sakina Thompson was demonstrating a depraved mind without regard for human life by stabbing with a sharp object with a premeditated intent to cause death.
So as I dug deep and tried to find a reason or a motive for Sakina killing Kayla, that's when I found some things on Twitter. Now, it's being said that allegedly Sakina traveled from New York to Florida and killed Kayla because of a man. Allegedly, Sakina and Kayla were seeing the same man, and that's the reason for her murdering Kayla. Now, investigators have not come out and say this, but this is the speculation that's going around on social media. Now, something that I find odd is Sakina never stopped posting on social media even after the murder of Kayla. Now, her last post was just a few days ago saying love isn't enough. Sakina even posted on the day before Kayla was murdered. Now, y'all, this story is absolutely heartbreaking. My heart goes out to Kayla's family. This girl was beautiful. From her Instagram, it seemed like she pretty much kept to herself. She did like to go out and have fun, but she didn't seem like trouble. I think she murdered her out of jealousy.
When Sakina took Kayla's life, she showed that woman no sympathy. But when Sakina was facing life in prison, she wrote the judge a letter asking them for sympathy. Let's get into it. So this case goes back to 2022. At the time, Sakina was 28 and Kayla was 23. Now, Kayla lived down in Broward County and Sakina lived up north in New York. And we already know the connection was a man, so let's get past that. So at the time, it says that Sakina was in a lavish relationship with a man named Terry, and it says that she was crazy in love with that man, or just crazy, because she placed a tracking device in his Range Rover and he never knew about it until it was too late. So in July, Sakina then took her man Terry down to Miami to celebrate his birthday, but even though she did all that for him, he still found a way to get away from Sakina and make his way towards Kayla. Now, what I don't know is whether that was the first time he met Kayla or whether they had prior history or what. But it would then be July 13th where Sakina would then track Terry's location to Kayla's house, and she waited until Terry left, and then she arrived at Kayla's residence. After going to this woman's house and knocking on her door, she then pulled out a cutting utensil, slicing this woman in multiple places, specifically from here to here. Crazy. After committing this crime, I read that Sakina then met back up with her man Terry, and they both caught a flight back to New York, and it doesn't state whether or not Terry was aware of what happened or not. It would then be August 3rd, 2022, where Sakina would be arrested for this crime and charged with first-degree unalive. See, what Sakina didn't know is that she was actually 11 weeks pregnant with this man's baby at the time. And that is what prompted her to write the letter to the judge, and I will be reading just a small part of it. Allow me to give birth outside of this facility while I fight for my case. Show me sympathy. Due to the fact that I'm a first-time mother with no priors and I've never been in trouble before, I'm terrified of going into labor while incarcerated because this facility is not properly suitable or accommodated for pregnant women. I've been incarcerated since August 3rd and I'm due February 17th, 2023. Spending my entire pregnancy locked up has been stressful. I have a stable place and a family that can vouch for me. Anywho, she has not been sentenced yet, but I will be back to update you all when they do update that case. Until then, rest in peace to the beautiful Kayla. What's even crazier about this is the story was requested from a dude that used to date Sakina, but not the guy that's a part of this story.